Hi boys and girls, it's Marci Chavalas and it's story time. Today's story is an amazing book called Moses, When Harriet Tubman Led Her People to Freedom by Carole Weatherford, illustrated by Kadir Nelson. This is a special book, boys and girls, because this is a Caldecott Honor book and it's a Coretta Scott King Award-winning book. So I'm very excited to share this special book with you today. This is going to be about Harriet Tubman, one very, very famous African American. So are you ready to learn more? All right, let's grow. For all you AR readers, this is an AR book. It's quiz number 109416, level 4.0, and worth half a point. On a summer night, Harriet gazes at the sky and talks with God. I am your child, Lord, yet Master owns me, drives me like a mule. Now he means to sell me south in chains to work cotton, rice, indigo, or sugarcane, never to see my family again. God speaks in a whippoorwill song. I set the North Star in the heavens, and I mean for you to be free. Harriet sees the star twinkling. My mind is made up. Tomorrow I flee. God wraps her in a blanket of night, and she returns to the cabin, sleeps beside her husband one last time. This is beautiful, boys and girls. Harriet, even though she was not free at the time, someone owned her, which is totally, totally wrong. She trusted in God, and she spoke to God about the things that made her upset, the things that were unfair. God does not want people to be owned by one another. He wants people to be free. The next day, Harriet tells not a soul her plans. She grips the axe to chop wood, breathes deeply, and murmurs, Lord, I'm going to hold steady on to you. And God whispers back in the breeze, I'm going to see you through, child. God's going to help her to be free. At dusk, Harriet chants, when that old chariot comes, I'm going to leave you. She hopes her loved ones hear her song and know it means farewell. While the plantation sleeps, Harriet prays, Lord, send me a sign. Owl screeches, the hour has come. Harriet slips into the night. Running through the swamp, she hears frogs croaking and her own heart pounding. Lord, I can't make it alone. In the moon's reflection on the creek, she sees God's face. Harriet, you dreamed that saints saved you, but mortals will give you refuge. The woman in the wagon who always spoke kindly to me. Yes, Harriet, I must go to her. The woman points Harriet to safe havens, hiding places for runaways, and Harriet steals away into the darkness. Boys and girls, I don't want you to miss this. Harriet's following what she hears from God, and she remembers kind people who she's met already. And God reminds her, hey, look, maybe go to those people. And she does, and those people help her to be free. You might not be the person running from freedom, but you can be someone that helps others when they need help. That's a wonderful role to play when you choose to use your voice or your resources or your time to help someone who needs help, just like these friends helped Harriet. She creeps through the woods. Her heart flutters. Hush, love beats. Please, Lord, don't let them catch me and take me back to face Master's whip. Don't let my journey end here. In the underbrush, Harriet sinks into a deep sleep. God cradles her. When she wakes, the men on horseback have passed, and day breaks. Thank you, Lord, for watching over me. Now, boys and girls, you hear lots of talk about God and about Lord, and she's praying a lot to Jesus. Harriet talked many, many times about how her faith in God helped her become free and helped her to free others later on. So this is something very, very important that I don't want you to miss. Our faith can help us to do big things, no matter how small or big or young you are. There's always something that you can do, and God can help you to do the thing He's called you to do. In a clearing, the safe haven, Harriet knows that most strangers would turn her in, not help her. But the farmer's wife feeds Harriet, then tells her to sweep the yard. I don't know who to trust, Lord. Search for my face in theirs, and for my hands in their work. What have you in your hands? In a dust cloud, she sees the broom become a staff, then a rifle. Harriet startles but holds on. I will arm you against your enemies, but you will not harm a soul, and no harm will come to you. The dust settles as she stops sweeping, and all is as it was. So that farmer's wife helped Harriet, and Harriet continues to hear from God that, hey, look, there's a way that I'm going to set you free. I don't want you to harm anybody. No harm's going to come to you. At nightfall, Harriet climbs into a wagon, and the farmer covers her with blankets. Here's, boys and girls, another person helping her. You always can be a help and make a right choice, no matter how hard things are. As the wagon wobbles along, Harriet worries that it is heading to jail. Should I leap, Lord? Trust me to protect you, child. A heart song lulls her to sleep. Swing low, sweet chariot. The wagon stops at dawn. It must be hard for Harriet. She's trying to be free, and it's very scary. If she gets caught, she might go to jail, she might be beaten, she might be even killed, and the people who helped her will get in huge trouble because it was against the law to free someone from slavery. So she's got a lot of big fears. And who does she take her fears to? That's right, boys and girls. She takes her fears to God. She prays when she feels scared, and she receives comfort. Harriet walks till her legs ache. Then she leans against a tree. Lord, I miss my folks. Harriet, your father taught you to read the stars, predict the weather, gather wild berries, and make cures from roots. Use his lessons to be free. You will meet again. A mosquito buzzes in Harriet's ear. She rises and moves on. How scary. She's in places she doesn't even know, and she's trying to find her way to a place that's free, with no directions. She doesn't have Google Maps. She doesn't have Apple Maps. She has nothing. She just has to look at the sky and try to figure out her way. A boatman rows her up river. Oh, here's another person who's helping, boys and girls. This is amazing to see people come together and help. Back on shore, hounds snarl, sniff for Harriet's trail. She races as fast as she can. Lord, I can't outrun them. God speaks to a babbling brook. Shed your shoes, wade in the water to trick the dogs. Upstream the barking ceases and fear washes away. Thank you, Lord. The bad people in the story sent dogs to come and sniff her out so they can take her back to being a slave again. And God gave her a message. Hey, look, let's get in the water so the dogs can't smell you through the water. What a great thing to do. That kept her safe. I would be terrified if dogs were chasing after me. Would you be too? Yeah. Harriet's feet bleed and her gut churns. Under the stars, she draws near to God. Lord, don't let nobody turn me round. I'd rather die than be a slave. Harriet, keep going. You have already glimpsed the future. She recalls dreams where she flew like a bird, sank and was lifted by ladies in white who pulled her north. Fly, Harriet, your faith has wings. Man, that would be hurt. She had to go through the forest walking on barefoot, running. I bet she's hurting and scared. She's still going. She must be very brave. Up ahead, she hears word that patrollers are nabbing runaways and crouches for days in a potato hole. Dreams she is buried alive. Have you deserted me, Lord? Harriet, when you were a girl, you hid in a pig pen to shun the whip. You fought hogs for table scraps, almost starved before you faced the lash. I am with you now as I was then. An old prayer comes back to her. Lord, make me strong. Help me fight. I love how Harriet remembers the times that God helped her before. Sometimes when you're looking for help in the future, remember what God has already done. And if you can't remember what God has done in your life, you can go to the Bible and read story after story, true stories of how God has helped other people on earth and how he can do the same thing for you. Let's see if it gives Harriet courage to keep going. After 7 days, that's a whole week, boys and girls, Harriet rises from that hole like a sapling, reaches for the sun as if to touch God's hand. Wow, she spent a week in that potato hole. I bet her stomach hurt. I bet she was feeling really uncomfortable and scared. That's really, really difficult, but she continues to push on. By moonlight, she marches on, making her way mile after rugged mile, hiding in haystacks, attics, and barns, holding God's hand all the while. She often wearies. How far, Lord? As far as you can walk with me, my child, and I can carry you. More people are helping her along the way. She's staying at their houses. When Harriet is about to drop, a couple in a wagon ride by. They say slavery is a sin, and they take her on the last leg of her journey. Look, boys and girls, once again, God provides people to help. And remember, he might be calling you to help someone on the playground or a friend at church or someone in your neighborhood. When you feel that inside, like, this is not right, I should help, you should listen. That's just like what these people did. They listened when God prompted them to help someone, and their help made a huge difference, not only for Harriet's life, but now for today. We still read it and are inspired by Harriet's story because of the kind things they did. You can be that type of person, standing up for what's right by listening to that little thing inside of you that tells you, hey, I should do something. Not far now, child, not far now. In the promised land, Philadelphia, the sun shines gold in the trees, and Harriet feels light as a cloud. She studies herself from head to toe to see if she has wings. Is this heaven, Lord? Not heaven, Harriet. Free soil. So in this state, slavery is not allowed. But freedom brings new woes or troubles. Lord, I'm a stranger here. All my kin are down south. Would you like to see them? So let's stop there, boys and girls. She's worried. She's concerned. She doesn't have a lot of friends in the new place she's living, and she misses her family, just like many of us would. She's totally new to this place, and she misses all the people she cares about. As Harriet dusts, her family's faces appear in the wood grain. She wipes a tear from the table. I would make a home for them here. I would give my own life to free them. Then go back for them, daughter. But first, go to my house to prepare for the journey. Let's see how she's going to prepare to go back to the scary place that made her a slave. And Harriet goes to church, finds not just holy ground, but a stopping place, a station along the Underground Railroad that slaves travel to freedom. Now, boys and girls, it says Underground Railroad. That doesn't mean an actual place where trains go. And the Underground Railroad at this time were a number of people who believed slavery was wrong, and they tried to help runaway slaves by providing a place for them to stay, just like the farmer and his wife did, and the other people, like the guy who rowed her in a boat, like the people who took her in a wagon. All those people are part of the Underground Railroad at the time, helping slaves get to the states that slavery was illegal, so they were able to become free. Harriet hands out shirts and shoes, serves butter beans and biscuits to newly arrived runaways, while agents who plot escape pass on secret routes that she learnt by heart. Finally, a conductor, a guide. She turns to God. I'm ready, Lord. Lead me. Harriet, I will make a way for you. So let me go back. That's a lot in here that's really important. So I told you a little bit about the Underground Railroad. There are many different jobs on the railroad. Let's look at some of those. She's handing out shirts and shoes to people who are newly free. Could they pack up all their things, boys and girls, when they're running away and put it on a train or a plane? No. Could they take an Uber? Absolutely not. At this time, there were no cars or planes, and when you ran away, you had to just take whatever you're wearing and just go and wear that for as long as it took you to get to freedom. So they didn't really have anything. So one role that people could play to help was to pass out shirts and shoes. It also says they served butter beans and biscuits. So the people who were running away, could they stop at McDonald's and get some food? No. Could they go to Publix? No. A lot of them had been starving for a long time because they just had to run to be free. So they were probably very, very hungry and feeling sick. And so, another way to help was feed them, provide food for them. Other people, it says agents plot escape paths. So there's agents that are on the Underground Railroad, people who are really good at planning. They planned safe places for the slaves to stop so they can hide and continue moving towards the north where they could be free. And then it says a conductor, a guide, is another role. So Harriet became a conductor, a guide, the person who's leading those slaves to the different houses and to freedom. You had to know the paths to take and how to avoid trouble. So she's going back into some very dangerous territory, but she's playing a really important part in the puzzle and the story to help people become free. Lots of different ways. Just like there's lots of ways in this story of how people helped, there's many different ways that you can help people all around you. Just look for how you might help, and I'm sure God will show you the way. Risking her own life, Harriet returns to the dreaded South and rescues her family. But she dreams of slaves still in the yoke. The yoke is like something that you put on animals and made them work, and they couldn't get away. And so she's dreaming of freeing people from having to work for free and not be free. She wants them to be free. She hears their groans, sees their tears, tosses and turns in her sleep. Then God opens her eyes. Harriet, be the Moses of your people. But I am a lowly woman, Lord. Harriet, I've blessed you with a strong body, a clever mind. You heal the sick and see the future. Use your gifts to break the chains. I'll do as you say, Lord. I will show others the way to freedom that you have shown me. Save all you can, daughter. Now, if you notice in the book, there's different types of fonts and different writing to show who's talking. So the white is Harriet, and the brown large letters are kind of how God's speaking to her. So that's something it's a text feature that you want to pay attention to as it changes. But I love how God's inspiring Harriet to use all the gifts and talents that he gave her to help other people. And Harriet heeds God's call. Heed means to listen to and follow. Goes south again and again, keeps her bands of runaways moving, comes storms and rough country, clear to Canada, Canaan land. And when free souls sing her praises, she gives glory where it is due. It wasn't me, it was the Lord. I always trust him to lead me, and he always does. So people were going to praise her thinking, great job, you've done so awesome. But she remembered, hey, look, it wasn't just me. It was God who was telling me where to go. So she praises God for the things that she does. Well done, Moses. Well done. Well, boys and girls, what an inspiring story of Harriet. I love how this story highlights Harriet's strong faith and how that helped her all the time that she was leading people out of slavery. I hope you enjoyed it. If you love this book, if you liked it and enjoyed reading, click the like button right now and share this with somebody who you think might also enjoy it. And if you want to be notified of more stories like this, go ahead and click the bell and subscribe right now. All right, until next time, friends, have a great day. Bye.